What is going on, guys? NeBo back again. Hopefully you guys are doing good, and it looks like we are going to get multiple buffs and nerfs in this new update. So this just shows that Blizzard isn't afraid to make dramatic change. So basically with these buffs and nerfs, we've had like this carousel going around and around, and the last couple of months a lot of the characters have gotten buffed or nerfed, more nerfs than buffs. But let's get into the first character that has a lot of attention since the last couple of months, and that's Ana. So Ana's bionic rifle is decreased from 80 to 60. Bionic grenade impact damage reduced from 60 to 30. And impact healing reduced from 100 to 50. That means that her shot on a Pharah, instead of taking 3 hits, it'll take 4. And I feel like Blizzard's doing this just because Ana can be DPS, but at the same time, I think Blizzard wants an Ana player to play an actual healer. For example, you have your tanks out there, and you top them up, and you have whatever players are all topped up, and everybody's good. They don't want you to go out there and shoot around like a 76 if you're an Ana. You know, you're going to use all their DPS. They want you to step back, you know, do your healing and all that. This is a crazy nerf at the same time, considering where it was a couple months ago till now. And is this gonna change a lot of the Ana players' way of playing and how they're thinking and all that? So then we have the bionic grenade. The impact damage will be reduced from 60 to 30. That's cool for me, honestly, because every time you're a tracer or these squishy characters, and it can pretty much hit you once or twice and then hit you with that impact grenade and you're dead. And I feel like that would allow, I feel like that would reduce the, you know, the amount of kills Ana will get, you know, basing her as a healer, and she's doing some more DPS than some DPS themselves. In my opinion, I think that's a nice change. The impact healing, though, this is a little bit crazy. The impact healing reduced from 100 to 50. Say if you have a Reinhardt's like half or even lower, she can throw her bionic grenade and then automatically like heal him up past half or almost full. And now this would actually change how the Ana would be played, like I was saying before, so that she's actually stationary to the heals, so she can actually do some healing. So she's not throwing her nade up, topping everybody off, and then running away doing DPS. Now she's actually have to be more dedicated to her heals. And I think I might be elaborating a little bit too much here, or thinking ahead too much, but I think Blizzard is allowing the team composition to be mercy based, and then everybody builds around that. So if you have a mercy, you can have an Ana, but she's not dedicated to, you know, heals like she was a couple months ago. Now, if you have a Mercy and then now you have like a Zenyatta or a Lucio or whatever, you can still be sustained. And that's what I think that they're doing with Ana. So Ana's like the main heal, but at the same time, she is a backup to a Mercy. And that's what I feel like Blizzard is doing, trying to like push that direction. I could be wrong, but I digress. And let's move on to the next hero. Junkrat no longer hurts himself from his own explosives. Effect added to current passive Total Mayhem. So in the past, Junkrat has his mines and he could throw them and he doesn't get hurt when he blows them up, but the enemy team will get hurt if they're in that area or on the actual mine. When Junkrat shoots, he inflicts damage to the enemy team if they're hit, but if it's bounced off the walls, it'll come back and hurt him. So this is taking out the damage completely from his own explosives. So which I figure is not a bad thing, but at the same time, like, it makes sense to keep it, but I don't know, like, is it really a necessary buff? That's what I'm trying to get here. Like, they haven't touched Junkrat in a long time, and now you're going to change his, you know, like his invulnerability to his own explosives. I don't know. Me personally, I think this is okay, but at the same time, I think there's other areas that they need to look at. Moving on, let's go to Orisa. Currently, Orisa is on the PTR and she's not in the main build, but we have what we've seen from the PTR. Her fusion driver gun has a maximum size of 200, and now that is lowered to 150, and her supercharger cost increased by 15%. So the supercharger is her ult, the one that allows you to get damage buff. So this is gonna take a little bit longer to get, and that's a good thing, because if she can get her ult like everybody else, that damage buff is going to be ridiculous, and people are just going to go off and kill everything, you know, pretty much win the game. So that's good. It takes a little bit longer to get. We have Sombra, and finally, this is what I've been waiting for. This buff is exactly what I've been talking about since Sombra has come out. Her sound effects and voiceover distance for entering and exiting stealth reduced to 15 meters, and her translocator cooldown reduced from 6 seconds to 4 seconds. So I want to talk about this stealth. It's called stealth, but yet she screams out, "I'm here," or "there I am." Her sound effect is so loud, and her voiceover distance is so loud, and it covers so much space. How could you call that stealth? Every time she goes into stealth, she says something. Or she, like, when she goes into stealth, it makes that sound. And everybody can hear where she is, especially when she's coming out of stealth. So this is good. At least they reduced the meters that it took to hear her. Because she could be, like, across the map. And if you have a good headset, you can hear everything. You know exactly where that Sombra is. So thank you, Blizzard, for changing that. I hated that. Didn't make any sense. But this is my personal opinion. And the translocator reduced time, that's going to be great. Honestly, they're going to see a lot more movement from Sombra. She's not as stationary as she was. 4 seconds is really fast, and we're gonna see a lot of Sombras coming in and out of this next update, and I really hope I can play a little bit of Sombra. I do like her, but me personally, I cannot stand her right now, as like I said with the whole sound effects thing. So I really like this buff. Thank you, Blizzard. It's been long overdue. Now, coming over to my boy Winston, I played a lot of him in first season, loved Winston, and after all these buffs and nerfs, he's pretty much out of play. Like, you can still play him, but at the same time, he's one of the squishiest tanks I've ever played. He's supposed to jump in there, you know, put his barrier up and, you know, take damage and bounce out. So now we have a buff for his barrier projector. So the cooldown will start when the barrier is placed instead of at the end of it. So before, when you use the barrier projector, the cooldown didn't start till after the barrier was gone, and that was an addition to 13 seconds. So can you imagine being a tank? You know, this guy is supposed to go in and protect everybody. His barrier only lasts for 5 seconds, or if it takes so much damage, and then it's gone. Then you gotta wait 13 seconds after it's gone, then jump back in, and then use your barrier. Plus, he's really squishy. So thank you, Blizzard, for finally buffing his barrier. So now we can go in with Winston's bubble, slam it down, and then the cooldown will start. So that gives enough time for Winston to bounce out, and then by the time he can get his jump back in and protect his team. So that's been way overdue. I really wanted a damage buff for him, because I feel like he doesn't do any damage, but if you have a good Mercy with the Winston, he can do a lot of damage either way. So I digress, and we'll move on to my boy Zenyatta. So Zenyatta gets a buff for his Orb of Destruction. His alternative fire is reduced from 1 second to 0.6 seconds. His Orb of Discord now targets enemies through barriers. So with the alternate fire time reduced, I feel like there's going to be a lot of players popping heads, especially myself. I love playing Zenyatta, and it's great, especially that that volley that you do, and having that time reduced will help the team in the long run. Now with the Discord going through barriers, like for me when I played Zenyatta, I feel like that's a big thing. Every time a Reinhardt will come by, he'll put a shield up, you can't hit him with a Discord, or Zarya will put a bubble on everybody, taking away your Discord orb, and then you have to put it back on. And now with Orisa, she's got a barrier and shields on her, and basically this game has become like a big shield war. It's a good thing now that Zenyatta can put an orb through their shields and or bubbles, allowing the Discord to go through and have the enemy team take more damage. Alright guys, I think that's about it. I'm not going to make this too long, but I do think that Ana nerf is for setting up the Mercy, having Mercy as the main healer on the team, because Ana has been getting buffed and nerfed especially for the last couple of months, and I feel like that's going to change, especially this update right here. This is gonna change a lot of Ana players, how they think and how they're gonna play, and we're gonna see a lot of different metas going through here, especially when Orisa gets in, And I think Sombra is going to be played a lot more, same with Winston. So I'm happy to see this change. I can't wait and actually play to see how everything feels. And I would like to see your comments on what is going on with these buffs and nerfs. Do you like them? Do you not like them? Comment your thoughts down below. And if you liked the video, drop a like and subscribe if you're new. Till next time, guys. See ya.